Recently, UFC President Dana White was pressed about the return of Conor McGregor in 2025, and he was non-committal. Dana White has no idea when Conor McGregor is actually going to return. And we're going to take a look at that in this video. We also have Dana White being asked, Michael Chandler saying Conor McGregor may not be my next opponent, but I'm Conor McGregor's next opponent. We got a clip of Dana White being asked about that I think is very interesting. But then we have a couple other interesting clips. One being BKFC president guaranteeing Conor McGregor is going to fight in BKFC, which is a theory I've had for a while. And then there's two other clips I want to take a look at. One of a recent interview with McGregor and Ariel Helwani, where Conor essentially confirms he's going to BKFC. I did an entire video on this, so we're not going to spend much time on it. And then also a clip that I showed in another video, but it really wasn't about Conor McGregor. And it was the craziest clip of 2024 regarding Dana White and Conor McGregor, and the news never picked it up. It was on a small, local news channel, and the MMA media just completely missed this. I'm the only person that's covered it anywhere. It's absolutely insane. We're going to take a look at it in a minute in this video. Let's jump right into it. Conor McGregor did an interview with Ariel Helwani during the recent Anthony Joshua boxing match. And in this interview, and I'm just going to play the audio for you because the video, there could be copyright reasons. But Conor McGregor confirms my theory that I've said for a while, that he's going to BKFC. At least that seems to be his plan. Let's listen to this.
But of course, I'd be remiss if I don't ask about your situation. It's one of the great sagas of this past year. Are you fighting in 2024? Dana White recently saying 2025 now.
It'll be 2025.
Okay. When do we think?
We'll see. My opponent that I had scheduled, Chandler, has got matched.
Are you upset by that?
No, it is what it is. I just take it on board and just rock on. My job is just to go to the gym, be in the gym, be in shape. And one thing is for sure, whenever it is and wherever it is, I will be 100% ready. And
imagine if Chandler was still waiting. Whenever it is and wherever it is, I'll just be ready. By the way, Conor McGregor does not look ready at all, which, again, we could be, a couple months out from even an announcement potentially. But he doesn't look ready at all. If you've seen the recent live stream, which maybe we'll throw in a couple clips of that as well, but yeah, he does not look ready. I mean, this is him. Does this look like a guy that's preparing for a fight? But let's continue on. I don't want to spend too much time on this.
That's all I can focus on right now.
2 fights left, though. Do you think you get those 2 fights in 2025?
I must. It's the promised lands, so we'll see.
What happens after those 2 fights?
I must, and then it's the promised lands. And then it's the promised lands. He's talking about getting out of his UFC deal. And then being able to self-promote in BKFC against hand-picked opponents, making a much larger portion of revenue share. That is Conor McGregor's plan. I've been telling you guys that for a while.
I don't even know. I don't think no one in the space knows. I'm the highest generating fighter on planet Earth right now in today's space. And what happens afterwards, I'm a free agent, I'm not so sure. But one thing I do know, I'm very excited that we have partnered Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship with DAZN, and we've got 3 world titles on the line for our debut.
So he starts advertising BKFC, but there's a very subtle thing that he says here that I find very interesting that, again, really wasn't elevated in the media that much.
Inaugural DAZN event, live from Marbella, Spain, in an open-air bullfighting arena, and we're very excited about that.
Yes, October 12th to be exact.
October 12th, are you there with DAZN?
I will hope to be there. Last one.
It's different. It is different.
You would like to do it?
It is different. I'm speaking with Sheikh Turkey about it, potential matchups for my own self.
You guys hear that? I mean, that's crazy. By the way, there was a rumor that Makayev allegedly spoke with PFL. People were jumping down his throat. What about this? Conor's still under contract with the UFC.
It is different. I'm speaking with Sheikh Turkey about it. Potential matchups for my own self. A lot of exciting things going on.
Okay, last one. Who is...
I've been speaking with Sheikh Turkey about matchups for my own self. He's talking to Turkey al-Sheikh about BKFC boxing matches. That's what I took out of that. Maybe you guys want to take something different. I will link this unlisted audio down in the description if you guys want to go check it out. Then, this was recent. I did an entire video on this, so we're not going to spend really any time on this. Conor recently did a stream, and this is the way he was acting during the stream.
Space, yeah? And meet them. Whatever they throw. Hey, hold that, yo. How much money you win betting against Joshua? Didn't bet it.
Well, let's just skip ahead a little bit. I want to see if he does the one where he's like putting the sunglasses on the can. All right, no, I don't see it, but we'll just play this.
Yeah, but do it at the end, or what you reckon?
17, cancellation, 1 2.
Conor, take the glasses off for sure, no problem.
All right, so I did an entire video on that. You guys can go check it out. It's on my channel. But let's jump ahead to this. This clip should have been front page news in every MMA media website, okay? This only has 6.1K views. This is some interview that Dana White did with the New York Post. I'll link the full interview down in the description. Everything I show you in this video, I'll link down below like I always do. This is the craziest clip of Dana White talking about Conor McGregor in 2024, okay? This isn't even really a newish clip. We're going to get to the newish clips in a second. This is straight up insanity, and nobody's talking about it. Let me know down in the description, or not down in the description. I'm an idiot. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think of this clip, because it's insane to me that nobody else is talking about it. Did nobody else watch this? Am I the only person that watched this? Listen, he's asked about Conor McGregor here.
Of UFC, Conor McGregor is looking to make a comeback this year, had the injury. He's done a ton for this sport, obviously. He's been a megastar, you know this, and fans have been wondering about his return. When is it going to happen? And can he still compete at a high level? In your eyes, from somebody who knows him, does McGregor still have that hunger?
Well, let me tell you this. I was the one this year saying, I don't think he's going to fight this year. Amidst all the talk and everything else, even the fight being set up in the press conference, Conor McGregor will fight next year, early 2025.
So he'll fight in early 2025, but did you hear what he said before that? How insane is this? Listen to this again. Listen to this again. This is the most insane thing I've heard, and I swear nobody covered it. Nobody covered it. I'll link this full interview down in the description. Anybody else wants to cover this, this is insanity.
His return, when is it going to happen? And can he still compete at a high level? In your eyes, from somebody who knows him, does McGregor still have that hunger?
Well, let me tell you this. I was the one this year saying, I don't think he's going to fight this year.
I was the one this year who said I didn't think he was going to fight this year. Okay, that's pretty crazy considering you booked him for a fight. That's insanity to begin with. By the way, you weren't the only one, Dane. I was ahead of you. I was a year ahead of you. Okay, I was a year and a half ahead of you, really. But then the next part is the real insane part. So he was the one saying that Conor wasn't going to fight this year. And then he says, even when we booked the fight in press conference.
Amidst all the talk and everything else, even the fight being set up in the press conference, Conor McGregor will fight next year, early 2025.
Even though they booked the fight in press conference. Imagine you bought tickets to UFC 303 and you hear Dana say that. Yeah, I didn't even think he was going to show up for 303. That's insanity. I cannot believe that he said that out loud. And I cannot believe that nobody else covered it. But it was going on during UFC Noche. I didn't even have a dedicated video that had that clip in it. Which really, that should have been its own video in itself. But Noche was going on, O'Malley Marab, all the coverage surrounding the Sphere and Bill Hornbuckle. So I kind of understand why it got overlooked. And plus, it was on like a no-name, YouTube channel, whatever. Nobody goes and watches all the interviews. But guess what? I do. That's what we do here. By the way, guys, if you enjoy these videos, like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications. I would really appreciate it. I'm trying to get to 30K. Next thing we're going to take a look at, Mr. Kevin Iole over here, okay? He's a pound for pound #1 journalist in MMA. From what I understand, he does have a basset hound. I'm not sure if he's smacking spray paint cans out of hands. I'm not 100% sure if he's shooting guns, but he does have a basset hound and he's asking good questions. So I think that puts him as pound for pound #1 MMA journalist, okay? He asked Dana about Conor's return, and he even references this stream with Conor, which I think was great questioning. This is a recent interview. I encourage you to go check the thing out in its entirety.
Tuesday is your matchmaking day. And I wonder, and I wonder as you're sitting in there, is Conor McGregor's name come up? We saw that live stream. I texted you the other day. He did a live stream for Dual Biz, and I guess somebody called him inebriated. One of the fighters said a lot of bad things about him.
By the way, the live stream actually got taken down. If you want to see all the highlights of it, I did a full video breakdown of the live stream. I'll link it in the description as well as the end cards. But let's continue.
To me, what I saw, Dana, in the bit that I watched of that live stream is a guy who is not close to being ready to fight. What is your reaction to what he did on that live stream, and where is Conor in terms of coming back to be an athlete and compete?
Well, number one, I didn't see it.
I didn't see the live stream.
I find that hard to believe. Dana White responds to random comments on Instagram 24/7. He didn't see the live stream. Maybe he's telling the truth. I don't buy it. And look at that face right now. That pause, that freeze frame right there tells me he did not see it. He did see it.
You had said something to me about it. And number two, I said that Conor wasn't fighting until 2025. It is October 1st of 2024.
Right.
Conor McGregor has plenty of time.
He has plenty of time to get clean. By the way, let me mention this because there's been a lot of confusion in the MMA community. I've seen it in comments recently. People say, like, how is Conor passing drug testing with the UFC? And one, the new UFC drug testing is ran basically in-house in a way. That's a topic for another video. But there's in-competition and out-of-competition drug testing. Out-of-competition drug testing would be Conor right now. Now, I'm not sure the new policy, the exact definition of in-competition, but it's usually like a week or maybe even a month out from the fight is technically in competition. Usually it's closer than a month. Out of competition, you're not being tested for recreational drugs. Out of competition, they're only looking for like PEDs. Okay, so it doesn't matter if he's snorting coke or whatever else he's potentially using when he's out of competition, okay? But then Kevin Iole, being the pound-for-pound #1 MMA journalist, follows up with Dana White here and says, look, we're looking at like March of 2025? And Dana White completely brushes it off. Listen to this.
So it seems to me like, probably March would be a good time for him, right? I mean, is that your Vegas fight? That's a big, generally a big show on the calendar. Would that be a fair assessment when we might think about seeing him?
I'm going to go with 2025.
Not any more specific than that, huh?
I mean, imagine Chandler hadn't moved on right now. I'd have video after video. But Dana won't even give like a tentative range. It's going to happen in 2025. May happen the end of the year 2025. May happen summer of 2025. At this point, I'd be shocked to see Conor back before summer of 2025, okay? Now also, and this is something that I've mentioned in previous videos, depending on when Conor signed his contract, there is a 5-year sunset clause, okay? Depending on when he signed it, maybe he signed it just before the second Dustin Poirier fight, which would have been UFC 257 in early 2020. You're looking at, we're 1 year away from a sunset clause. Now, I know some people have commented before, Joey, the sunset clause changed, and it goes from the date of your actual fight, not when you sign the contract. They changed that since Francis Ngannou's situation. So most likely that is not applicable to Conor McGregor. So there is a real chance, and we don't know the exact details of it, but you're looking at late 2024 to first half of 2020, I misspoke there. You're looking at late 2025 to first half of 2026 for Conor McGregor's sunset clause. I do not believe he's going to sign a new long-term deal. He has 2 fights left. So basically at some point the rubber's going to meet the road. Dana White and the UFC are going to have to scramble to get Conor a fight because they're going to want to cash in on him before the sunset clause comes to fruition. So I think as long as Conor's not just dead set on waiting out the sunset clause, then most likely he probably will fight next year. And we're going to get an answer whether or not it's Michael Chandler in a second. But totally non-committal. And then also, we're going to look at the post-fight presser at Dana White's Contender Series where he was asked, will Chandler be his return opponent? And Dana White's answers in the Kevin Iole interview as well as this Dana White's Contender Series post-fight presser basically tells me I have no idea when Conor is going to return, and I'm not even thinking about it. So that tells me it's October. You say it's October now. He has plenty of time to get clean for 2025. It tells me they're not even thinking about it, which means it's not happening in January, February. If it's happened January, February, they would be thinking about it by now. But listen to this answer. Michael Chandler audibly gasped when he heard this.
Announcements in these past couple of weeks was the Michael Chandler return to fight Charles Oliveira. He said that he may not be, or McGregor may not be his next opponent, but he definitely thinks he will be Conor's next opponent. Do you think that's a logical assessment, or do you think it's time to flip the page on that fight?
I have no idea. Like I said to Kevin today, Conor will fight in 2025. So however it plays out as we lead up to him being ready, I have no clue.
Sure, and obviously, like Alex.
So there you go. By the way, I actually want to go back real quick because Kevin cracks slick right here. Listen to this. I forgot to play it out.
Yeah, 2025.
All right. Alex Pereira is defending. Alex Pereira will have fought probably 50 times by the time Conor McGregor gets back into action.
Yeah, Pereira probably will have. But anyway, back to this. He has no idea. He has no idea the opponent. He has no idea the time frame. Michael Chandler audibly gasped, and now they're breaking out the whiteboard at his home, drawing up a new plan because he's insisting Conor McGregor's return runs through Nashville, Tennessee. Keep pushing the rock up the hill. Now, the most interesting thing that I've seen recently, and it drives me nuts, and this is where MMA media fails. David Feldman, who is a part owner and president of BKFC, a business partner with Conor McGregor, now that Conor McGregor is a partial owner of BKFC, did an interview with Damon Martin, which I pray and wish that he fixes his audio. I would help him fix his audio. It's atrocious. For the life of me, and I encourage everyone to always do this. When you see a clip on Twitter, go seek out the original source. The original source, first off, you want to support the person who created the original content, but also you can get more context. I can't find this interview anywhere, so I have to play the clip that was posted on Twitter. It seems like they posted this clip, and I reposted this on September 23rd. I still can't find the original interview. Maybe I missed it. If somebody can find it, let me know. Link it down in the comments. But this is craziness. He basically guarantees that Conor McGregor will fight in BKFC, which is something I've suspected for a while.
He seems serious about this, like serious about...
Man, the audio is so bad. It's so bad. Every time I watch one of his interviews, the comments are full of the audio's bad, the audio's bad, the audio's bad. It's horrific. It's like Brett Okamoto's camera quality. He's matching it with audio quality.
Doing bare knuckle.
Yeah, I mean, look, let's start at the beginning. You said exactly what you said is true. The UFC doesn't need us. Like, they don't need us, right? We need a co-pro with them. They don't need a co-pro with us, which would be phenomenal. They're not going to do it, right? They're not going to do it if they...
The UFC will never strike a deal with another organization unless it's beneficial to them. So it would have to be like Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather. It's never going to happen, which he's saying. But here's where it gets really interesting.
Do Conor McGregor in anything, they don't have to do a co-pro with us. But that being said, I mean, unless he's the best salesman in the world, because the talks that we've had, he's like, I'm fighting here. Like, I'm like, yeah, okay. He's like, I'm fighting here. I'm fighting here. And then I go, well, why wouldn't you fight here? Because you have equity in the company. And if you fight here, you probably make more money here than anywhere else in the world because of what it's going to do for the company. So I truly believe what you said. I think 100% he fights here.
100% he fights. I've been telling you guys this for over a year. He's going to fight in BKFC. He can make more money in BKFC than he can make in the UFC. Okay? Because if he's self-promoting his own fight, he's going to get a large portion of the revenue. Okay? The UFC as a machine can promote a fight better, but at the end of the day, Conor McGregor, I've said this before, I'll say it again, is the most underpaid fighter in the UFC. He's getting peanuts compared to what he's actually generating. The majority of his net worth comes from other business ventures like Proper 12. So it makes sense for him to fight out his 2 fights in the UFC or wait for the sunset clause and then go to BKFC or work out some type of boxing deal with Turki Al-Sheikh. Okay, which we had recently, Conor said in that stream that they had an offer, and I don't know how this works or how the UFC was incorporated with this. You had Terrence Crawford versus Conor McGregor boxing and MMA. Apparently it was like a $200 million deal. I don't know how that was split out, but I believe he's going to BKFC. I'm going to listen to this one more time. I find it very interesting here.
The talks that we've had, he's like, I'm fighting here. Like, I'm like, yeah, okay. He's like, I'm fighting here. I'm fighting here. And then I go, well, why wouldn't you fight here? Because you have equity in the company. And if you fight here, you probably make more money here than anywhere else in the world because of what it's going to do for the company. So I truly believe what you said. I think 100% he fights here.
Also, if Conor fights there, he elevates the company. If he elevates the company, he gets a return on investment, even if he only fights there once. So I really believe the Conor McGregor UFC era is coming to an end shorter rather than later. We're going to see what kind of matchups he ends up in, but mark my words, I think there's less than a 5% chance that Conor McGregor signs a new UFC deal. I think the issues between Conor and Dana White have been a combination of on Conor's side, but also on Dana White's side, kind of stalling out, hoping to kind of renew a new deal. Or maybe they just want to see what Conor's drawing power is before they sign him to a new deal. That's why they're waiting for the next fight. We're going to see what's going to happen over the next 6 months. This saga is going to get more interesting because can you imagine if Conor McGregor and Dana White end up in some type of feud? That is going to be one of the most interesting storylines to pay attention to in 2025. But you put all these things together, and then you hear Dana saying, yeah, I wasn't confident he was going to fight in 2024. Imagine you bought tickets for 303. Then he's non-committal about even fighting by March of 2025. That's straight up insanity. So this is a story we got to pay attention to. But right now, if I had to predict, Conor McGregor is not going to fight in the UFC until probably summer of 2025. And then who knows if he even finishes out that deal, because then at that point he's going to be like 6 months away max from his sunset clause. I wish somebody would ask him that in an interview. When did you sign your contract exactly? If we could get a date, we know when that 5 years is up. I'll continue to cover this topic on the channel. Make sure you go check out the other videos. I'll link them in the end cards. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching.